Hey, welcome back to the shop. I was playing with my balls here, and I thought we gotta do something different. We're doing way too many of this, so I'm gonna start this thing called the Rough Turn Exchange. My friend Jim Williams gave me this piece that he rough turned, and I believe he stabilized it too. Yeah, because it's got crystals on the top, and it's been sitting here, and I've been kind of chicken about tackling this because I've been turning for a short period of time and I don't want to screw it up. But I think the time has come to deal with this. I used one of my vacuum chucks to do a jump chuck and try to center this piece as center as possible because I don't want to lose too much material. It took several tries to get it in the proper place, but I got it done. Then I drew the tenon, and I noticed that the sun was playing games with my video, so I had to stop and take a break. Well, since the sun is screwing up my video shooting, I thought I'll take a moment to talk to you about the Lord Jesus Christ. Got you going, huh? No, I want to talk to you about the rough turn exchange idea, where you rough turn something, let it dry first though, make sure it doesn't crack, and then send it to another YouTuber and they can finish the rest of it. This one was sent to me by Jim Williams, and so I'm working on that, and I thought it'll be really cool. I'm gonna rough turn a few pieces and have them dry up and ready to go, and contact some other YouTubers there, and it's a chance for us to cross promote our channels. It's a chance for you to find new YouTubers and the same thing that you're interested on. So that's what we're gonna do. Okay, the sun is out of the way, so let's get back to work on this piece. I'm trying to not remove too much material and just round over the bottom half. So I'm gonna put both pieces in two different chucks, and you'll see why later. Here I'm shear scraping just to clean that up so there's less sanding to do. This stuff was really dry. There's no shaving coming out of that thing. Here I'm checking that I have enough material to do whatever it is I'm going to do. Here I figured out that the top piece did not fit on my jump chuck. So I got creative, turned an old piece as a jump chuck and used that. Here I'm trying to get it centered again, just like I did with the bottom piece, so I don't have to remove too much material. Drew that tenon to fit on my secondary chuck. And here I'm checking that it fits properly on my chuck. It looks like it doesn't because it has a gap, but it's actually a very good fit. It's just that the piece, I didn't through the whole bottom of it, but it's held properly. So get rid of that, bring the bottom back, and go to town on that one. Again, I'm trying to remove as little material as possible because I'm kind of winging this and I don't know how I'm gonna join these two pieces. And I'm making sure to have enough material again. Then I shape the top half of the bottom half, if that makes any sense. A little bit of shear scraping. Then I started to hollow the piece, but Jim did like a square bottom, so I can't do a full swing in one shot, so I have to create a curve. So I kept stopping and looking and trying to gauge because I still haven't decided whether there'll be a groove on the bottom or the top. Like the groove will be on the bottom piece or on the lid, and I couldn't make up my mind with that. So subsequently, I took another break just to give it a thought and look at some pictures on the internet to kind of figure out what I wanted to do. Here I got it almost to the curve where I want it. I'm using a 55 degree, I believe it's a 1/2 inch here. A little bit of scraping, a little bit of sanding, and then I discovered this huge crack that took like 3 or 4 times to fill up. I used black CA glue for it. Here I'm scraping that, and I'm gonna have to sand it again. And then I put some walnut oil just for good measure. There is a piece with a groove ready to go. Put that aside and bring the top or the lid. Same thing, I'm taking my time removing little bits at a time because I want to remove as little material as possible. Here I'm trying to figure out my size that I made the groove on the bottom piece. Checking that it fits. And then I'm gonna start holding to close to that line. Then I decided I wanted to make a bead. I don't want like a sharp lip on the lid, so that's what I did. I was getting a bit of tear out on the very edge of it. Here I'm trying to fix that. Then some sanding and a little bit of walnut oil, for good measure, as I said. Yeah, that brings it out really nice. So here I have an attachment that fits my chuck, and it has an MT2. And I have 2 of them. I have a fix, and this one has the bearings, so it can spin freely. And I'm gonna make the 2 pieces so I can shape the outside, and the lid will be exactly matching the top size-wise. I can match the actual grain because, first of all, I didn't rough turn it. I don't know how much he took out. I think he took out more than I thought because I didn't see the pieces matching that well, but you'll see at the end. So that's running nice and true. And here I'm shaping both of them at the same time. Then I do a little bit of shear scraping. Then while I have it there, I do some sanding. Now I'm going to my vacuum chuck, and I'm gonna start with the lid. This one is the fixed attachment with an MT2. Then I turn my vacuum on to hold the piece. I will remove the chuck and use my live center to hold the piece. That way I don't have to run my vacuum inverter the whole time. Plus, I ensure that my piece won't fly off. So there it's held in place, so I turn that off. And I start shaping the top of the lid. I didn't have an idea. I do this thing, and I've done this several times with several pieces, where I try to do like some weird, really smooth cut, and then I think, I'm just gonna leave it there and move on. So there is no thought process of the design or shape of this. I kind of try to pin down my cuts so they're perfectly smooth. That way, if I see something I like, I just leave it and move on to the next section. Here I'm started to shape what I believe is gonna be a knob, but the more I look at it, I realize that it's too big for it, so I keep making it smaller and smaller. Do some sanding. Then I'm gonna turn my vacuum chuck back on and remove
the tailstock. And then I went to finish the top of the knob, and this happened. And it's funny that there was no thought process. I just kept going like nothing happened, like there was supposed to be no knob or something. And yeah, it took me about half an hour to find a stupid piece later because I actually decided that I was gonna glue it back on, but we'll get to that. Yeah, I'm doing a bit of detail hand sanding, and this is not oil, this is actually denatured alcohol, because I don't want to put oil because otherwise my glue won't work. And here I'm kind of practicing this. There's only one shot. I'm using CA glue, so once it goes on, I either put it in the center or off the center, who knows. But it worked out very well. So once that was cured, I used a little sander to shape the top and finish it with a little bit of detail hand sanding. Now back to try to do the bottom piece. I use my other fixed attachment. Same idea. Turn on the vacuum, remove the chuck, and bring the tailstock back on and go to town. I keep doing flat bottoms on my pieces and it looks okay, but to me it started to look a bit amateur, so I wanted to make a nice very small bead to the bottom of this piece. So that's what I'm doing here. Then I remove my tailstock, cut down the knob, and scrape it nice and smooth so I have less sanding to do. Here I'm doing just that. And then everybody's favorite part, the finishing oil. I believe this is a piece of sycamore, if I'm not mistaken. That's what Jim told me. That grain looks really nice though. This was quite challenging because I had to do justice by somebody else's work, so it was a pretty neat experience. It just put pressure on me to do better than I normally do, so if you get a chance, you should try it. And here I'm making sure everything is good. Here is the tops, here are the bottoms, and thanks for hanging out with me. I'll catch up with you the next one. Ciao, ciao.